You're standing in an emergency room. A man walks in with a broken leg, bone visible, blood everywhere, and he's calm, almost smiling, cracking jokes with the nurse. 10 minutes later, a teenage girl faints from a simple blood draw. Same species, same nervous system, completely different outcomes. So here's the question that's been debated by scientists, soldiers, and doctors for over a century. How much pain can a human body actually take before it shuts down completely? And more importantly, why does that limit exist at all? By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly what happens inside your body in the seconds before you black out from pain, why some people never faint no matter what they endure, and why one rare medical condition proves that feeling no pain at all might be the most dangerous thing that could ever happen to you. Let's start with the basics. Pain isn't actually a sensation that happens in your hand, your leg, or wherever you got hurt. Pain is a story your brain tells you. When you step on a nail, sensors called nociceptors fire an electrical signal up through your spinal cord to your brainstem, and finally to your brain's processing centers. Only when your brain receives and interprets that signal do you actually feel pain. Cut that pathway anywhere along the line, and the injury still happens. But the pain never arrives. This is why soldiers on battlefields have reported losing limbs and not feeling a thing until hours later. Your body has a built-in emergency override called stress-induced analgesia. In moments of extreme danger, your brain floods your system with endorphins and adrenaline, essentially muting the pain signal so you can keep running, keep fighting, keep surviving. Pain in that moment becomes a luxury your body decides it cannot afford. But here's where it gets interesting. That same system that can suppress pain can also betray you completely and send you straight to the floor. Let's talk about fainting. The medical term is vasovagal syncope, and it's the reason a grown man can survive a car accident without flinching, but crumple to the ground at the sight of a needle. When pain, or even just the anticipation of pain becomes intense enough, your vagus nerve, which runs from your brainstem down through your chest and abdomen, gets triggered into overdrive. It tells your heart to slow down and your blood vessels to widen suddenly. Blood pressure crashes. Blood flow to your brain drops, and your brain, starved of oxygen for even a few seconds, simply switches itself off. You faint. It's not weakness. It's not being dramatic. It's a primitive reflex, likely inherited from an evolutionary strategy. Some researchers believe fainting at the sight of blood or extreme pain may have once helped our ancestors survive predator attacks by playing dead, or by minimizing blood loss when lying flat. Your body isn't malfunctioning when you pass out from pain. In a strange way, it thinks it's protecting you. Now here's the twist most people don't expect. Pain tolerance has almost nothing to do with toughness, and everything to do with biology you didn't choose. Genetics play an enormous role. Researchers have identified variations in a gene called SCN9A that directly control how intensely your nociceptors fire. Some people are simply wired to register pain as a 4 out of 10, when someone else would register the exact same injury as a 9. Hormones matter too. Pain thresholds fluctuate in women across the menstrual cycle, and testosterone has been linked to higher baseline pain tolerance. Even your childhood plays a part. People who experienced chronic pain early in life often develop either heightened sensitivity or, in some cases, surprising resilience, depending on how their nervous system adapted. And if you've made it this far, hit that subscribe button and drop a comment telling me the most painful thing you've personally been through. Because in a minute, I'm going to tell you about people who feel no pain at all, and why that's actually terrifying. Let's go back to that emergency room for a second. Imagine if that man with the broken leg felt nothing. Not because of adrenaline, but because he was physically incapable of ever feeling pain for his entire life. That's not a hypothetical. It's a real documented condition called congenital insensitivity to pain, or CIP. It affects only a few hundred people worldwide, and for decades doctors assumed it would be a gift. It is not. Children born with CIP have chewed through their own tongues and fingertips without realizing it. They've walked on broken bones for days, developed severe infections from unnoticed wounds, and suffered fatal internal injuries because there was no warning system to tell them something was wrong. Pain, it turns out, isn't the enemy. Pain is the alarm system that keeps you alive. Without it, your body is a house with no smoke detector, quietly burning down while you sleep. This flips the entire question on its head. We spend so much energy trying to endure or escape pain, but pain is actually one of the most sophisticated survival tools evolution has ever built. The real question isn't how much pain can you endure. It's how well can your brain regulate the signal without shutting the whole system down. So what about the outliers? The people who seem almost superhuman? Free divers who hold their breath past the point most people would panic. Practitioners of the Wim Hof method who sit in ice baths for extended periods without visible distress. Endurance athletes who finish ultramarathons on stress fractures. Are they simply not feeling pain the way you do? Not exactly. Studies on extreme cold exposure and controlled breathing techniques show that these practices can actually train your nervous system to delay or dampen the pain response, partly by increasing your tolerance for the physiological signals of distress, a racing heart, the urge to gasp, the instinct to panic, before they overwhelm your prefrontal cortex, the rational part of your brain. In other words, they're not turning off the alarm. They're training themselves to stay calm while it's ringing. That distinction matters enormously because it means pain tolerance, unlike your genetic pain threshold, can actually be trained and expanded over time within safe, medically supervised limits. Which brings us back to our opening question. How much pain can you actually endure before you pass out? The honest scientific answer is there's no universal number. There's no pain scale where everyone blacks out at an 8 out of 10. It depends on your genetics, your hormones, your nervous system's baseline sensitivity, your psychological state in that exact moment, and even how much blood is currently in your legs versus your brain. Two people experiencing the identical injury can have wildly different outcomes. One stays fully conscious and lucid, the other hits the floor in under 10 seconds. But there is one universal truth in all of this. Fainting from pain is not a failure. It's your 10,000-year-old nervous system doing exactly what it evolved to do, protecting your brain the only way it knows how, by taking the decision out of your hands entirely. If this changed the way you think about pain, do me a favor and like this video. It genuinely helps this channel keep making content like this. And if you're new here, subscribe, because next week we're diving into a topic that connects directly to this one. The people who feel emotional pain and physical pain in literally the same part of the brain, and what that means for how heartbreak actually hurts your body. Before you go, I want you to think back to that ER story from the start of this video. The man with the broken leg who felt nothing, and the girl who fainted from a blood draw. Now you know their brains weren't reacting to the same event at all. They were running two completely different survival programs, both perfected over millions of years of evolution, both trying in their own way to keep them alive. So next time you flinch at a paper cut or watch someone shrug off an injury that should have dropped them, remember it was never about toughness. It was about biology quietly making a decision on your behalf faster than you could ever consciously choose. Drop a comment below. Have you ever fainted from pain or watched someone else go down? I read every single one, and some of your stories might end up in a future video. See you in the next one. See you in the